Hey guys, SuperHorrorBro Mike here, and in today's video, we're doing something a little bit different. Obviously, I've got the face cam on, and the reason for that is we're doing a book review for the new Bendy book today, which is of course called the Joey Drew Studios Employee Handbook. Now I got this a few days before its official release date. It actually comes out officially, I believe, on the 30th of July, which I think is on Tuesday of this coming week. So today I'm going to tell you my opinion of this book, whether I think it's worth picking up if you're a fan of the Bendy and the Ink Machine franchise, of course, and also what this book contains, of course. We're going to look through this book, kind of like through the pages pretty quickly. I'm not going to show you everything that's in the book or read everything that's in the book, but I'm going to read you a few passages here and there just to give you an idea of how it's written, what you can expect to find within it, and then break down the book by section and review it as an overall product. Is it worth picking up? So let's have a look at the book to start with. You'll notice on the front cover it's kind of got this cool hidden message. If you can just about see that, I'll probably do a close-up. It says the creator lied to us, can you see that? And it's basically hidden on the front cover, so that's a neat little touch. The presentation of the cover is awesome because it's got these ink blots, and each of the ink blots has this kind of glossy feeling to it, so it feels kind of like ink would feel if it had just dried on a page. And also, as you can see, it's got a nice little description of the book on the back, and I'll read that to you right now. Welcome to Joey Drew Studios. As a new employee, it's your job to carry on Mr. Drew's legacy of iconic characters like Bendy, Boris the Wolf, and Alice Angel. In this handy guidebook, you'll learn how to get around the studio, operate our state-of-the-art ink machine, and work well with our dedicated staff of creatives and crew members. Mr. Drew himself has even included a walkthrough of all the tasks you'll need to complete to make it out of your first week alive, as well as an excerpt from his memoir, The Illusion of Living, to inspire you to carry our company's mission forward. In time, we hope you'll find a home here at the studios. Who knows, after a while, you may never want to leave. So there we go, guys, that is the back of the book. That's kind of a description you get to tantalize you as to whether to read it or not, and it's pretty accurate. This is pretty much what the book is. It's a guide to the game Bendy and the Ink Machine and all the secrets contained within. Now, there are some secrets that are actually missing from this book. They're kind of smaller ones, but they are ones that I would have liked to see included, kind of like the hidden meatly faces you can find around the levels, and close-ups of stuff like the newspaper clippings that we got at the end where it said, "An artist has recently died." I couldn't find that in the book unless it's something I just missed, and it would be nice to have seen like what that fine text that we can never read in the game actually said. But mostly, if you're looking to get achievements and get everything in the game that you would be required to, like all the cans of bacon soup, all the radios, all that kind of stuff, it's all detailed here within. Now, the book is broken up into 3 sections, the first section being a guide to the game itself and an introduction to the studio, and this takes up, I would say, just over half of the book, but it is still worth looking into if you've played the game and know all its secrets, because while the guide to the game is pretty standard stuff, around that this book frames extra story details and character details. So for example, you might be reading the book and you might be in chapter 3, okay? And then you've got this note here on this page, which I think you can just about see. Well, you can't read it because my light's beaming off it, but you can see here you've got the stuff to do with that section of the game. So it has your objectives on this side of the page, but then on this side it has an extra bit of story information. And this story information on this page, for example, is a letter from Joey Drew that we never got in the game, so it's extra lore which is being added to that section of the game that we are then going through. So I'll read this to you and then I'll kind of explain how this would work. From Joey Drew to all staff. Please give a warm welcome to Alison Pendle, Joey Drew Studios' newest employee. Alison is a talented voice actress with lots of dreams. In her spare time, she loves to cook and invent recipes. I know that as soon as you meet her, you'll be taken with her beautiful voice and charm. She's so interesting, so different. I have to say, I'm an instant fan. Effective immediately, Alison will be the new voice of Alice Angel. We believe this restructure in voice talent will lead to a more cohesive character list and more success for our dreams. Alison will meet with Sammy Lawrence after lunch to discuss re-recording Alice Angel's dialogue. Then I will bring her around to meet everyone. Distribute immediately to all employees except for Susie Campbell. So here, guys, you can see there is a note from Joey Drew, and in this note it's basically telling the studio there's a new actress, Alison Pendle. Now, we didn't get a ton of information on Alison Pendle throughout the game, okay? We never really heard that much about her. In this book, you actually find out a lot more about Alison and how she was hired for the studio, but we also see that Susie was kept out of the loop entirely and happened to stumble across the fact weeks later that she had been replaced when Alison had started the job. But what's interesting, you might have noticed in that excerpt I just read you out that some of the lines Joey used in that letter to all the staff were lines that Susie Campbell's version of Alice actually uses towards Henry in the game.
You're so interesting. So different. I have to say, I'm an instant fan.
So as you can see, it seems that this confirmed that Alice in the game, the twisted version of Alice, is indeed Susie Campbell for sure. She's basically using the words from Joey's letter in her character towards Henry, and that's really interesting to notice. There's lots of little things like that dotted around in the book. As you go through reading it, you'll just notice these little things, and it's probably going to feed into theories that I'll use on my channel in the future. So this book is definitely more than just a guide. But it is an interesting guide because, as you can see, you've got studio layouts, so it shows a map to each of the levels. If you haven't played the game before, this is really useful because it'll actually show you where to go for each objective to complete. It also tells you exactly where to find each thing quickly if you want to go through the game without getting stuck. And as I said, it adds flavour to each area of the game, because in the guide to chapter 2 here, it's got a whole page describing the music department, and then it's even got like sort of timelines to do with when things happened within the music department. It has character hierarchy, like who's at the top of the music department and then the people beneath them, and you can see actually it's quite funny, Norman Pox like ranked the lowest in the department as the projectionist, so he kind of got a raw deal, with Sammy being obviously at the top. And it's kind of written really nicely because it's kind of written like a story. So as you go through the guide to each stage, you've kind of got like a story that you read through. For example, if we go to chapter 4, there's a part that's research and design, and it's telling you how to go through the research and design lab, and it's written like this. Research and design. Head back to the power station and flip the first switch. It will open the door to your left to research and design. Here you'll find the butcher gang, standing around a burning barrel below. You must throw the empty bacon soup cans to lure them to another part of the room while you slip by. Note that these enemies cannot be defeated with empty cans until after you throw the second switch and open the door to leave the area. You'll find a second power switch by taking a left at the burning barrel. Back here you'll find another lost one in a caged off room. Continue back to the workshop where there is a half-finished animatronic Bendy and an audio log from Lacey Benton. So as you can see, this guide is like a story taking you through the game and describing what you'll see there, and it's probably a good thing to sort of read through if you cannot play the game yourself. You know, Bendy is available on mobile now and consoles as well as PC, so you can pretty much get it anywhere, but for some reason if you aren't able to play it and you want to get this book instead, it does guide you through the levels in detail so you can experience it through the book, which is kind of cool. I also found, guys, that this book added in stuff like extra artwork, which is really cool to see. There is some stuff I'll probably show you here on screen, a few little excerpts, but there are new concept designs for the Bendy land and stuff like that you'll find throughout, which was really nice to see. And as I said, there is a lot of extra lore as you go through this guide, which is like the story stuff, the character stuff. There's actually a whole paragraph where it describes how the ink machine works. There's parts which tell you about how the Gent company came to be like working with Joey Drew and his studio and what their role actually is there. You find out how Thomas Connor actually joined Joey Drew Studios from Gent and the reason for why. There's a whole lot of stuff in here, guys, which is really interesting for fans of the series, and you could actually play through the game again using this guide as you go and then reading the extra sort of story stuff, and kind of it would just give you a much better experience as a whole, because if you remember the original Bendy Ink Machine, it didn't have a whole lot of story stuff. We just got like bits and pieces through the audio logs, and this book really fleshes that out and it brings the whole story to life. It fills in the missing pieces of the story as well for stuff like theories that we've been kind of coming up with to fill in the blanks. This book actually fills in a lot of that stuff and actually confirms many of our theories, as well as actually correcting some of our other ones. Now, as we go past the actual guide to the game and the additional story stuff there's also an employee handbook, which then tells us, you know, the steps and stages you would go through if you joined the studio. So it's kind of like fan fiction, but it's quite interesting to read how the studio was run and how hard Joey made it for people if they were ever sick, you know, to be able to like take a sick day, for example, how little holiday they actually were given. It shows the horrible work conditions of this studio and the way Joey tried tried to justify these horrible work conditions to his employees. And after we get past that, we also have stuff like a recipe for bacon soup, so you can make the exact bacon soup from the game, as well as you find out why there's so many bacon soup cans dotted around the studio to begin with. There's also stuff like how to draw Bendy, how to animate Bendy, and lots of fun things to do at the back of a book. So the back of a book's more like focused on fun activities to do around Bendy, like animation, art, that kind of stuff, which is really cool, especially if you're new to drawing. Like, I wouldn't say if you're like a master drawer it's going to help you in any way, but if you're starting out and you're not particularly good at drawing, this is really going to help you out how to sort of compose characters, how to get them animating if you are interested in that, and things to look out for if you do want to animate. It also talks you through each of the Bendy cartoons and the basic storylines and premises for each, which is based on the posters you find around the studio. So there's a lot of information in this book, guys. Is it worth getting? I would say if you're a fan of Bendy and Ink Machine like I am, and probably you are if you're watching this video, it definitely is worth checking out. The story stuff and the additional character information is enough on its own to merit a purchase. The presentation obviously is really, really cool. I don't know if we've talked too much about that, but everything is in color, you know, we've got these lovely color images, you know, presentation is top notch, but there was too much of it, in my opinion, taken up just by the guide. I would have liked to see a little bit more stuff dedicated to, like, you know, new story stuff, new character lore, but I guess they're probably going to do that in the upcoming novel, expand on stuff a great deal in the upcoming novel Dreams Come to Life, which comes out in September, guys, and I'm really excited for that one, as well as the new game. While it's not a sequel or a prequel necessarily, they have said, you know, it's going to tie obviously into the same universe, and that will probably expand on a great deal of things which they don't want to probably touch on in this book. So I would say if you're a fan of the game, it's definitely worth picking up. If you're not so much a fan, you just enjoyed the game, maybe not, because it's not really going to give you anything that you wouldn't have seen unless you're going for all the secrets and stuff. And if you're not that bothered about the story and the characters, it's probably not something you'd want to pick up. You might want to go straight to the novel, which is giving you substantial new information. But I'd say if you're a fan of the series, this is definitely worth picking up. I'm definitely happy I've got it. It's allowed me to actually expand on certain theories, which I will be doing soon, and adding some new Bendy and Ink Machine content to this channel based on new information from this book. So overall, a recommendation from me, guys. I'm not going to be reading it on the channel because I want you to support the book if you actually are interested in it, obviously, but I will be doing some videos to do with the secrets found within this book, which I haven't delved into in this video because I don't really want to spoil too much stuff. I've kind of given you a few teasers to do with stuff like the Allison revelation there, but I don't want to go too in depth with a lot of the secrets that are in this book. Either way, guys, if you have enjoyed this video, remember to hit that like button, leave me a comment down below, and of course subscribe to the channel for more videos just like this one, and I will see you guys on the next one.